So on our way to Cuba, we decided we'd visit a local bar in Cozumel, which is renowned for its Cuban music and dancing. And this night, our brother and sister-in-law are also with us in Cuba. We had a bit of a fun night out. Getting in the mood for Cuba. It was a bit of fun. We hadn't really understood what Cuban music was, so this gave us a real feel for it.
It's only a 1 hour flight, or just a little bit over 1 hour to Cuba from Cancun.
When we arrived, we were absolutely ecstatic that the place that we'd stayed at, the Airbnb that we'd booked with, got us a classic Cuban car.
1950 something?
1953 something or other.
And on the way from the airport, it was so exciting to see all the Cuban cars.
I guess that's one of the big things about Cuba is that people know is the music, is the buildings,
checkered history,
checkered political history, and of course the cars.
Yeah.
But one of the main things is the music.
Yay!
So we went out to one night. We had a really great night out at what was it called? The something or other.
Havana Club? No, not Havana Club.
What's it called?
This one's actually a restaurant that we went to.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant as well.
We're the only people in the restaurant. We had a great time. But
we did. The band really loved us. But they thought
dancing, Liz loved the dancing.
They thought we were awesome singers and dancers.
Not so much on the song.
But when we listen back to it later on, it's like, wow, we should not video and sing at the same time. Buena Vista Social Club is something that I'd heard of before, or I'd seen in movies. I think there was even a movie called Buena Vista Social We booked a free tour guide.
Guru Walks.
Guru Walks. Hit it up if you're ever interested in doing great walks in cities. But Guru Walks, he was very interesting because he was talking about, we can do it like. He was talking about the history of what had happened recently with, Obama overturning the Cuban sort of sanctions and then those things coming back again, and that made a real difference to him and the economy there, because instead of one cruise ship a day coming in, they're getting maybe one a month now.
Yeah, and we happened to walk past the American embassy, which is not
closed,
operational at the moment, so it really has a big impact on the locals and people's standard of living. Another interesting spot our tour guide took us to in the centre of Havana, in a street called Calle Mercaderes, is an amazing piece of work by a Cuban artist called Andres Carrillo. The artist created this mural out of sand and acrylic paint, and it has 67 figures on it. On this wall, it's about 300 metres. And it's just showing the variety of fashion over the different eras, standing in front of this building. But while you're standing there, it's really interesting because then he said, turn around. And what the artist also did was he painted a mirror image of the building that you're actually standing in front of. It was a really impressive piece of work, and it was really tempting to touch it because it was, you know, sand and paint, but obviously they didn't want you to do that. But yeah, really impressive.
Porque la mujer de Antonio se quitó la ropa y se quedó tanquita. Y la gente de Santo 21 le sacó un corito que dice así: dale. Hay que ver cómo camina esa mujer, cómo mueve la cintura esa mulata, si me coge me desbarata. Hay que ver cómo camina esa mujer.
These dogs are really interesting. So we've been in Mexico for over 12 months now, and there's a lot of street dogs. So one of the great things they do in Cuba with those dogs is that the government actually sponsors them. They give them a name tag around the neck. I think they neuter them or they de-sex them or whatever. They worm them, look after them, and then basically feed them, and then basically they become part of one of the municipal buildings. So when the dogs are out the front of the buildings with their name tags, they belong to that building and they're part of the security service, basically, when the building closes at night.
True.
So it's a lovely way to look after them.
Yeah, it's nice to see they were looked after.
And that was on our guru walk. The guru explained all of those sorts of things to us.
The guru, the tour guide.
Well, the guru. It's guru walk, he's a guru.
I can't remember his name, I feel bad.
Yeah,
He was very good.
Esa misma, la mujer de Antonio, cómo camina esa mujer. Y dale gay.
I don't feel so bad now. I remember his name, the tour guide, his name was Yon, Y-A-N, but it's pronounced Yon. Whew.
The history and the politics of Cuba is interesting and really sad, to be honest.
And checkered, very checkered.
The whole thing with, you know, the Soviet Union and America and the sanctions and everything that's going on, it really just punishes the people who are just innocent in it all. Without that, you know, the beautiful buildings and the amazing friendly people and the architecture and the history of the place would be, it would be a lot more attractive, I guess.
Yeah.
A place to go to.
I think the thing that we were a little bit disappointed in was we always felt like we were being scammed, and it's probably because of the history and the people. Maybe they're struggling. Well, they are struggling to make a living and just live a happy life.
Óyeme papá, pero ¿qué tendrá mi Cuba bella? Sentimiento y sabor, pregúntamelo.
These are the views looking back from the Casablanca area into Havana, old Havana and the modern day Havana, and it's on the way up to Castillo de los Tres Reyes del Moro, or otherwise known as a sea fortress from the 16th century. Really beautiful views up there, and there's a museum you can visit as well. we planned a day trip down to the beach, and our Airbnb host came through again, arranging our ride, which was a 1953 Plymouth. You could not wipe the smile off Dean's face. So it was about 40 minutes out of Havana. We went down to a beach, or it's called Playa Santa Maria del Mar. We checked out the little town, had some lunch, had a swim. Really nice spot. So one thing we did notice is there's lots of horse and carriage transportation down there. It was really cute to see. It was a really nice day.
So I guess there are three things about Cuba that really stand out. One is, number one is the cars. The cars are very, very cool. They're very cool.
And the music.
The music, number two for me.
So cool.
Buena idea, esa es buena idea. Un pañito blanco, una servilleta, lo que tengan en la mano también puede ser. Pero si no, la manito sola. Así. ¡Se acará! Esa es la cosa. Y entonces, vamos a hacer un corito. Cuando ustedes quieran, vamos a hacer el corito. Vamos por aquí abajo,
Finally, the architecture. And while there was lots of really nice buildings, there was also plenty of places that weren't so nice. It's a bit of a balance, but in summary, Cuba was good. We saw some great things, had some good times. Would I recommend anyone go there right now? Probably not. That's up to you.